Adventure in Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
This is the Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, back again for the Positively Pipeman segment with our powerful business strategies from Michael Barbarita. So let's welcome Michael to the show. How are you?
Excellent. How are you, Dane?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm ready for some referral strategies and campaigns.
And that's what we're going to talk. Hey, that just so happens to what we're going to talk about today.
Nice.
You know, Dean, most business owners hope for referrals. They pray that customers talk about them. But, you know, as you know, hope isn't a strategy. And here's what kills revenue growth: waiting for referrals instead of systematically creating them. So the truth is, and probably everybody knows this, that referrals are probably the highest converting leads you'll ever get. Yet most businesses treat them like an accident rather than a strategy, rather than a profitability strategy. So I'd like to give you an example of what a car dealership did to get referrals. So a car dealership gave a customer 1/2 of $100 bill at delivery of their new car. So every time they sold a new car, they also gave the customer 1/2 of a $100 bill. And the customer they would tell the customer that they would get the other 1/2 when they referred someone.
That's brilliant.
I know. The referrals were predictable and the sales exploded. And business efficiency means turning satisfied customers into active promoters. It's not complicated, but it's intentional. And so a lot of business owners aren't intentional with their referral strategy, because referral strategy is more than just hoping for recommendations. It's creating that predictable system, like what the auto dealership did, to encourage and track referrals. And it involves understanding when and how to ask for the referrals, and then providing incentives that motivate customers to act. You know, unlike word of mouth, a referral strategy is proactive. It's a proactive approach, and it systematically generates and manages referrals. It's about turning satisfied customers into active promoters for your business, just like the car dealership did.
Yeah.
And so, but business owners, for the most part, they just wait for referrals to happen instead of actually developing a strategy, motivating people to refer them. And let me also, in this segment, Dean, define what a strategy is. Because a lot of people don't know actually what it's, I use the word all the time, even the name of my book, Powerful Business Strategies. And I define what a strategy is in my book, but I never actually defined it in our segments. So a strategy is a series of tactics done over and over again in the same order to get a predictable result. And so that's what a strategy is. And so so if you think about that car dealership, that's exactly what they did. It's a tactic, splitting a $100 bill over and over again to every customer who bought a new car from them. In the same order, they do it the same way, over and over again, to get that predictable result, which was a referral, because they knew that they had something like a 60% referral rate when they performed that strategy. And I don't know, the psychology of it is you feel like you're halfway there by having to have the $100 bill. And so I guess that motivates them to refer somebody. So, and there's a little management on the part of the car dealership, because you got to make sure that the serial numbers match when you give them the other half. So there is a little organization administration there, but that strategy worked famously for that car dealership, and it can work famously for just about any business if you think about it.
Yeah.
And what's interesting too is that it's typical at the time of purchase, or when you have completed a successful transaction or received a positive result of some sort, with a business or a customer, that's the time to ask for referrals, because that's when the
it's the
customer is
best.
happiest, right?
Right.
They're the happiest at that point. And so they're willing to reciprocate as best they can when that great result happens. And so, making and requesting referrals as part of your sales process, and being able to manage it and track it is very effective. So, but once again, business owners just, I can't tell you, in my BNI group, in my BNI referral group, I would say 100% of the people do not have a referral strategy, other than saying they go to BNI. Other than that, they have no referral strategy to get referrals from other participants, from other members. And there's several ways that you can put together strategies. As a matter of fact, we have a whole workbook on them that I'll talk about in a moment. But there are several strategies that one can employ, like what the car dealership did, in order to proactively have a systematic methodology of getting referrals. What do you find, Dean, with people, with business owners? Is it mostly a prey kind of?
Yeah, most business owners don't really have a strategy. Most businesses don't have a strategy. It's interesting you should ask me that, because the whole time I was thinking about when I first started at Prudential in 1989, and I was required, it wasn't a suggestion, to get 5 referrals from each person as soon as I made the sale. Like sitting at the table, selling them insurance, which was how it started. And I would basically have a form with the name, phone number, relation, address. It was back before email and back before internet, so address was important to mail them junk, and but instead of emailing them junk, and you were required. It was part of your job. There was no, like, if you can, there was no suggestion. It was, you must get these 5. And you'd say, well, what if they don't want to give them to me? People don't want to give out that information. And, part of that is true, but the other part of that is your own mindset. I think the biggest problem with salespeople in general, and this goes back to something you have already said in previous episodes, okay? But, you cannot think like the customer. You're not the customer. Don't, like, people are like, well, I wouldn't do that. Right. Well, just because you wouldn't do that doesn't mean 10 people would, and so you should get that right out of your mind. So, like, the people that wouldn't get those 5 referrals, even though they were required to, would be like, oh, I would never give out that information. I'm not asking them. Me, on the other hand, I was doing whatever they told me to do, and I was the number 1 agent out of 85 agents. Why?
That's awesome. Yeah.
Because I was that pain in the ass asking for those 5 referrals every single time. So every sale became more than 1 sale.
And what's amazing about that, Dean, is that if you ask 10 other agents whether that strategy worked, the majority of them would probably say it did not. Well, here you are saying that it absolutely worked.
It did not work because of their own attitude. That's what it comes down to. Like, listen, there's plenty of things that I would not do that clients of mine throughout my career and my life have done. And so that's why you can't think that way. People, perfect example is, people hate used car salespeople. They talk about it. Right. They say all these things, yet they still buy the car.
Right.
They still fall for the same things they know that are going on, and still buy it and still believe it. So it's all about what you project in your head, because sales is a transfer of emotion. So if emotionally you're not vested in getting those referrals and you don't believe it's going to happen, yeah, it's not going to be successful for you.
That's right. That's a great example, because there's a system that's, this is not, you're not hoping here. You're directly, it's a system that directly asks the customer for referrals. And if it's done consistently, and if it's done, period, and with the belief that you're going to make out and get those referrals, it happens. It's amazing. That's amazing. And like I said, I in my BNI group and some other networking groups that I'm in, the reason why they go is they hope that they can get a referral, and they don't have a strategy to get a referral. They just hope they can.
Yeah.
And many people that get discouraged after 6 months or 8 months of not getting referrals, and they leave, and they think networking doesn't work, when in fact it really does.
As somebody who's a master at networking, has done it my whole life, speaking of BNI, one of the beautiful things about BNI is all the rules. Most people that
That's
network hate BNI because of the rules.
Absolutely.
And they're dumb, because BNI gets you more business. A lot of people go into these networking organizations to go to cocktail mixers.
Right.
And like, that was my least favorite thing, because it's like the cocktail mixers, people were going there to drink for free and to, meet people personally, not business wise.
Right.
But BNI, runs it like a business.
I know.
And it's serious. And yeah, you may not want to follow all those rules, but if you don't follow those rules in life, you're not going to succeed.
That's right. It's the discipline that drives the referrals at BNI. It's that discipline. It's the discipline that they instill in the member. And you know what I love about BNI is my brethren and competitors hate it.
Yeah.
That's what I love about it, because generally speaking, I'm able to visit other BNI chapters without any because my competitors, I know my competitors aren't there. And so I'm able to join, I'm able to visit other chapters and be a substitute when they're absent. And that's been a big benefit for me.
There's only two types of BNI members, by the way, and that's either the ones that totally love it and swear by it, or the ones that don't renew and think they got nothing out of it. There's no middle. There's no middle.
Yeah, no, I agree. And some of those ones that, that say it won't work, they start their own, and of course it, falls on its face usually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you think something's not going to work, it won't, because you're not going to do what it takes for it to work.
No, you're right. You're right.
But referrals do work. They're the easiest to close. They're the best lead you can get. And they're the easiest thing to get if you got out of your own way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So here's what I'd like to offer you, the listeners, Dean. I have a workbook, step-by-step implementation workbook called Referral Strategies and Campaigns. And all someone has to do is go to nextstepcfo.net, hit the contact button, fill out the contact form, and in the message box, just simply put Referral Campaigns and Strategies Workbook, and I'll send it to them free of charge. And if they follow that workbook, they'll be able to generate strategies to get referrals. And it won't be the hope and pray. It would be actual strategy.
Right.
It's actually being strategic about getting referrals.
Right. And everything should be strategic. It's like, I can't believe how many business people just rely on, the universe. Let's put it that way.
Right. Right.
The fact is everything out there. Okay. You take Tony Robbins. People say, oh, he just pumps people up. But no, but if you went to one of his seminars, he tells you that you can show up to my seminar. If you don't put any of this into action, it will do nothing. Okay. Then there's people, okay, even if you talk in religion, let go and let God. Let go and let God does not mean do nothing. People think that's what it means. It doesn't mean do nothing. You must have a strategy, whether it's for your personal life, business life, no matter what it is, because otherwise it's like driving to somewhere you've never been without a GPS.
That's right. Yep.
So thank you for giving us this GPS. Thank
Okay.
you for giving them a free workbook. And thanks for being on the Adventures of Pipeman once again.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you, Dean.
See you next week.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.